Welcome to Washington Bangla Radio. This is Shubhamoy. Welcome all our audience who are listening to the program. With us today, Ramanjit Kaur and Arthur. They are from the Creative Arts, Calcutta, and they are doing some of the enchanting works in the field of theatre, the expressive dance, and also in the painting, because Arthur is a very good painter by himself. So, welcome you both to Washington Bangla Radio, and we are very thankful to you for giving us the time.
Thank you.
So, from Ramanjit Kaur, we'd like to know some how do you feel to create the Creative Arts Studio, and what is the vision and what is your looks behind that, the Creative Arts, if you say.
Thank you, Shubhamoy, for inviting us to Bangla Radio. And the Creative Arts was conceptualized in 2002 along with all the artist friends. One of them is sitting next to me, Arthur Cardozo, as Shubhamoy said, and many other artists of Calcutta. Mainly we wanted to bring in the concept of excellence in various performing arts and also collaborate with visual artists. Arthur himself is a visual artist. He is a cartoonist and a poet and playwright of our plays. We've also had collaborations with installation artists, with choreographers and painters. Over the years, we trained a whole lot of people, especially in theatre, in advertising, photography, and having our own space has always been a dream. I think it's a dream of every artist. And it did happen to us last year when we got this space, thanks to the supporters of the art, which happens to be my family. And now we wanted to do full justice. So rather than just creating a rehearsal space, we've created almost the first performance studio in Calcutta, which is fully equipped with lighting grid and sound system, and a functional kitchen with a performance space, washroom, so that also artists nationally and internationally can come and stay for residency projects. The vision behind the Creative Arts is that we want to, as I said, first of all, we want people to get aware of looking at excellence in arts in this region of the country, and we hope to take it to an international level. We were invited in 2008 to present our theatre science project, which we called Crab Soup, and the play was tremendously appreciated at Lillian Bailey's in UK and also at Tara Art Studio, and we've been traveling with it in India also. So apart from that, we look at when we look at training in theatre, we start from age 5 to our eldest student is 65, and we also look at dance and creative writing again, which are wholesome kind of training that we are looking at. I would say wholesome because it's not just feeding the students or the participants. We try and develop their minds and imagination and creativity, and give them enough motivation or impulse, as in like the batch which has started in dance. I hope that those children after 2 years should be able to compose a small piece of dance after 2 years. If a music piece is given to them, they should be able to compose a piece of dance, and not just that they are used to being fed all the time that this is how you're going to do it. That is one aspect of it. Apart from that, we look forward to many more.
Do you give them the liberty, do you give them the scope to do it on their own, to create it on their own?
Yeah, that's one part of our methodology, and that's how they slowly develop their own language, which is their own individual creative language in whatever art form we are looking at. And Arthur here with me, Arthur and I together are working on theatre as therapy, and also he brings in a whole vast experience and knowledge of other kind of interactive exercises which we have been using for therapy, for development in corporate houses, in individuals. So yeah, that's the whole gamut that we're working.
So we are coming to Arthur to know theatre as a therapy. How do you explain this?
That's really tough. But actually, for some of us, yes, it's therapy. But it's also a lot of hard work, and I suppose it's the hard work that makes it so therapeutic in its being. And for someone like Ramanjit, who's literally grown up, in theatre on stage, definitely has been an eye-opener to know that somebody can spend so much time in training oneself towards expressing oneself in the way she does on stage. And I've seen a few performances from her director Neelam Mansi, and they've been exceptional performances. And that fact remains that she has worked with the same director over a period which has been spans almost from the age of 16, I think, to as old as she is right now. And that's a long time. That was almost 20 years of more than 20 years of training in theatre, and that's amazing for any theatre artist to be in India, and to give theatre so much time, because as you already know, I mean, the takers for theatre in terms of sponsorship, and that's where I come in, it's not very many, and the money in theatre isn't really there. Besides a few pockets where people have a few festivals, that really is not very much. Though we are a nation that spends a lot on cinema, and we have entire production houses in Hyderabad, in Chennai, in Mumbai, and Calcutta. We have film cities, but when it comes to theatre, I think we have taken it's a very lackadaisical approach that is there from the government too, in fact, for that matter, because the grants and funds that come go to only a very select few people who just know how to lobby for those funds. I'm sorry to say this, but that's just the way it is. And people who actually deserve them don't get these funds, and that's how it's been right from day one.
Would you also like to talk about that, how theatre works as a therapy in workshops like this, what we have today, like Tantra, and how the theatre exercises or your interactive exercises are actually therapeutic for people?
Worldwide, as you must be knowing, and a lot of you may be knowing, that we use theatre exercises in corporate training, the training of personalities, training people to groom their
groom their personality.
To groom their personalities, to help them to be better human beings, to help them in teamwork skills, stress busting, leadership skills. We use a lot of theatre modules, theatre interactive games and exercises that have been used in theatre for ages and have proven, because theatre, as we all know, is all about body language and expression. And if you look at our daily life and the way we perform at our offices and spaces and home and at office, it's a performance. From the time you get up in the morning till the time you go to bed, it is a performance. So when you look at it from that perspective, all this in theatre, all the games in theatre that we play with people to enhance their skills is therapy. It's therapy more than anything else that can, because at the end of all this, we really get a feeling of that is so one with oneself. You actually feel that you won over some demons that keep coming. For those of you who have done workshops in theatre and training on theatre modules, you feel this particular thing, that you kind of conquer a lot of demons that otherwise exist within us. That's my perception of the whole thing. This helps calm us down, makes us new beings, brings us out, helps us shed our divisions. So it makes us new people altogether.
So my next question is, as Ramanjit told regarding theater, whatever you are doing from the creative arts, with the theater, there's an expressive dance, one thing, and the two other things is painting and creative writing. So do you give some training for the creative writing also? How these are, I know all these are branches of art, but how these are amalgamated together to be a presentable look by creative arts?
What would be very relevant to your radio channel is that, yes, we do a lot of script writing, but what would be relevant to you is that we do this amalgamating a very ethnic background into our pieces. So when it comes to doing exchange exercises with people in the US and elsewhere in the Western world, we actually played all on an Indian backdrop. So our writings are based out of feelings and emotions that are essentially Indian. Though we work essentially in English, we do not really constrain the copy or the script to English as a language. It is multilingual in terms of using phrases and lines from various regional languages depending on the kind of space we are performing in.
Ramanjit, we heard from Arthur what are the problems you are facing and whatever the negative points the theatre is facing right now. As a theatre personality, you are traveling all over the world for many years. So, and all over the India too. And you are doing theatre mainly in English. So, as an English and with the topics which are very contemporary right now, even it is some historical or mythological, they are very contemporary today's in context of today's world. It's very contemporary and for the international purview. So, what is the response from the audience? First thing, and the second thing is, what are the problem you are facing as a theatre personality, as an international theatre personality?
Well, I have been performing as an actress for a long time, and with Neelam Mansingh Chaudhary, who resides in Chandigarh. And we've just had a great response from the audience, and the same happened when we created the Creative Arts in 2002. The response from the audience and the media has been tremendous, and under the Creative Arts we started site-specific theatre that people have not yet touched in India or explored, even though we come from a tradition of a whole lot of folk forms of wandering minstrels. And site-specific just interested me because I happen to work with certain directors from Italy and Australia, and also in UK, and also because somewhere my traditional roots were rooted there. So when we started doing site-specific theatre or other experimental theatre wherein we combined theatre science, which was another international collaboration, the response from the audience has just been tremendous, whether here or other parts of India or UK. And the problem that we are facing in terms of developing or going as the amount of in-depth research, which we've never kind of taken a shortcut. But the problem that we are facing is the funds. I just wish we had it easy, and we would be, there would be an inflow of funds, so that one could just breathe easy and concentrate more on the creative side of it as an artist. I mean, visual artists get so many funds. I mean, that's what I feel, or at least the paintings get sold. But what happens to the theatre artists? The tickets are not sold at high prices. So where does the money come from? How do you survive? It's just your passion that you survive on. And passion will stay. I just hope the funds come in too.
With this passion, whatever you are going for, that's site-specific. Whether if the theatre world you are considering, they are going for the proscenium theatre, but you are going for the site-specific. So how do you feel how do you think about the future of site-specific, or how do you feel about the popularity of site-specific? Why did you take the site-specific in the world of proscenium theatre?
Good question. Site-specific excited me because it creates an intimacy with the audience. It gives a whole lot of different layering to the performance itself. It lends itself to the space in which we're performing, and it's not just a very formal cutout, here's the stage and here's the auditorium kind of formal space that we create. It's real, we can touch it, we can feel it, we can smell it, and audience and actor are together in that experience, and no one is just sitting on a chair and on a very judgmental kind of chair and looking at the performance from far away without bothering to take a real time physical entry into the performance, which happens in the site-specific performance. About the future of site-specific in India, I would say that I hope the awareness about site-specific increases. That's how the funds will also come in. People also feel scared to invite us in spite of this great response that we've had for years together in Calcutta and a few other places, but because they are not aware of how site-specific functions, sometimes they get scared of what is the technicality of inviting the site-specific, and we always say talk to us, we'll give you the solutions of how the technicalities work. So I really hope that the awareness about site-specific theatre increases, and so that we can have more different kinds of expressions in this medium.
Why did you take Calcutta as your base?
I live here. I got married and my family is here.
Only there's that reason.
Yes.
Okay. And if I say that since you are handling the different kind of actors of different ages, or from different backgrounds and all, from there, what is the response for the young generation, or what is the interest of the young generation in theatre right now?
Talking specifically about Calcutta, it's lovely to work with children because they are very disciplined, they come on time, they rehearse. The youngsters are extremely enthusiastic, and this state has some very talented people. You'll find an artist at every nook and corner who's so full of creativity and ideas. The only thing which is lacking in this city, and which has been our struggle to advocate, is that they do not think that it's important, or majority does not think that it's important to get training in theatre. I ask why. If a musician can train himself for years, a dancer can train herself for years, a painter gets higher and higher qualification in fine arts, what about the theatre artists? Where are the theatre artists who are trained, who are professionally trained? And once that happens, then let's look at the standard of the theatre scene in this region.
And if I consider the audience, what is the percentage of the audience is the young generation?
I think it's tremendous. I think audience is one part where I really have to salute them. They've been tremendous, whether young or old or little ones. The response is great, because if you give them something good, they appreciate it.
And if you say something regarding the expressive dance form, whatever you are creating, if you say some idea regarding the expressive dance form.
Well, what we look at in our comprehensive workshop is giving them a base of various Indian classical dance forms, also creative or modern dance as we call it, also introducing them to Western. But apart from that, giving them information where these dance forms come from, what do they entail, and how should they be performed in a professional manner, so that the child is actually ready to eventually, after some years, choose what is the specialized dance form that he or she wants to take, or maybe he or she would like to amalgamate all these dance forms. So at least give them enough so that they have the freedom to choose.
Arthur, Here's a question to you. Since you are going to the corporate fields, you are going to some of the houses or somewhere, and you are feeling the audience, and whatever you are giving the training to the audience for the theatre or the different aspects of theatre, for grooming them for the personality development and all, and whatever we have seen for some of the last some of the years, that there was a response for the theatre is increasing all over the world, and the people are conducting workshops, people are conducting, some of the, even the British Council is going to conduct the workshops for some of the, for I think twice in a year or something like so, for the Calcutta or the London School of Drama or some. So from that point of view, and by meeting those people at different segments of the whatever, who can be the prospective audience for theatre, what do you think, what do you feel regarding the future? We know the view of the Ramanjit as a theatre personality. Right now, I'd like to know, as a view from the author, what's your view regarding the future of theatre?
Where, in India?
Definitely in India, and also in an international aspect, because yeah, you are doing theatre all over the world. So,
see, as we have seen, that we've seen changing trends come about in this particular field from where it started. I personally would think of it as a communication person. I look at it as a very strong arm of communication. If I need to get a particular message across, it would be theatre, and it's proving to be a very strong arm of promoting a particular message, for getting it across to millions of people. I mean, it could be a traveling theatre company that actually does this entire exercise, and you actually have people who would identify with it much more than they would probably identify with an advertising film promotion, because you have real life blood individuals. And specifically in our kind of theatre, where we actually bring it into your home, doing it site specific, bring it into a space that you identify with. So I would say, yes, changing forms of theatre, looking at theatre where theatre has not been before, is the need of the hour. And because everything gets stayed over a period of time, and today we're talking about site specific, tomorrow we'll be talking about using just thin air, doing things differently, doing things in different spaces, not necessarily what we're talking about today, maybe differently. I don't know what that means right now, and I'm sure time will tell. And yeah, I mean, it is a changing phase, and it will keep changing. So theatre for India, I hope it holds good, because I think we need more sponsors coming through here. And internationally, I wouldn't say it's just India, but I think it's internationally where you don't have sponsors for theatre. To come by money for theatre is very tough. I mean, large international bodies into medical science have realized this, and they've come forth with it, because they found that theatre is very conducive in terms of being a medium whereby messages can be conveyed. And that's how the Theatre Science Project came about, because it was funded by which was the Wellcome Trust. It was the Wellcome Trust that funded this. And when you look at that as something that is happening, you see that there are possibilities where the Wellcome Trust funds something like this, and you are able to really get a message across.
So at the end of this interview, we'd like to know what are your upcoming projects, whatever the themes you are thinking of, and at the same time, what is the message from both of you, or rather to say from the creative house to the audience, because without the audience, any creative house can't survive.
We have quite a few projects that we have planned together, and we, as most of the people who work with us know, most of our projects are improvised, and I wouldn't be able to tell you till the very last day, and maybe till the day of the production, what that will ultimately be on stage. And maybe that will change from show to show, but that's the way it is with the creative arts and most of our productions. But yes, there's one particular one that we definitely want to travel with, and that is Merry-Go-Round, as also Crab Soup. But I think Merry-Go-Round, we feel, has a lot of potential in looking at life in terms of life being an entire circle of.
If you please express us a thing of it.
Merry-go-round is something that takes life as a circle. And everything that in life is circular is what we look at it as.
Yeah.
And everything that starts at one point comes back to that very point. And that's what the merry-go-round deals with.
Yeah.
And
It
deals
explores
with
the actor-audience relationship, and wherein the audience travels to the insides of theatre, to the cafe, the back alley, the kitchen, washrooms, to the green room, onto the stage, and at one point of time the audience is on stage and the actors are in the auditorium, so it's a role reversal. So it looks at life, I would say, life of an actor in theatre, but also in general.
It actually converts, a performance that happens into real lifetime feelings and emotions that you feel. Whether it be love or pain or anything. So the audience really begins to feel that in real time because we involve the audience there. So that's how it has been with the merry-go-round. So I think that's why I say, it's a start at some point and then an end at the same time. So that's where this whole concept of the merry-go-round came from.
Apart from that, the projects that we are thinking of, with this new space, the studio that has come up, Arthur was sharing an idea with me, and would you like to talk about Okay, he wants to, he would like to work on it. But there's another production that we are looking at wherein we would like to involve the traditional performers of Bengal, the Bouls, and that's what we're looking forward to. I don't think so you would like to divulge a little more than that.
And what's your message to the audience?
Well, the message to the audience is that we love them because they're great, they're fantastic, and please remain our support system because we do it for you.
Thank you both very much for sharing your ideas, your views with us and giving some time to us.
So much.
Thank you very much from the Washington Bangla Radio. We'll meet very soon, definitely on some other evening. For today, I think it's the time to go. So
All
very
best.
good night to both of you.
Thank you.
And all the best for the creative arts.
Thank you.
And I think, and we always, I think the God bless creative arts to fulfill whatever they are aiming and whatever they are dreaming.
Thank you so much.